Hey guys, welcome to the Clubhouse. I'm Billy Jackson, and today's video is going to be continuing my top 10 Star Wars list with number 2, Star Wars: A New Hope. Now, there are specific reasons why this isn't number 1, even though Star Wars is my most favorite franchise of all time. And I'll get to that when I do my number 1 video, which of course you guys know is going to be The Empire Strikes Back. But Star Wars, when it first came out, it blew not only me, but the whole world away. I mean, this movie changed cinema. It changed people's lives, and it's affected people still to this day. I mean, people show this movie to their kids today, and it still holds up. That's what's so great about the original trilogy. And that being said, that when I'm doing my reviews, these videos on the original trilogy, I'm not talking about the remastered. The remastered original Star Wars is horrible. All the remastered original trilogy movies are horrible. I don't watch them. I will not watch them. I will only watch the original trilogy in its true form. Even though that George Lucas himself has said that the remastered version is canon, which means, they count, stuff that happens in the, because they changed a lot of stuff from the remastered version to the original version. And one of the main things that really made me mad is that Han did not shoot first. That was something that they changed. That's in the original movie, the original Star Wars. Han shot first. Han shot Greedo first. And it's been a controversy in Star Wars, lore ever since it came out, but then he did the remastered version, he did Greedo shot first. And that's the one thing I will contend, with George Lucas saying, when I made these remastered versions, this is how I really wanted it to be. But if he really wanted it to be that way, then why change the whole Greedo shot first thing? Why he could have easily done that. He says he did these remastered versions because he didn't have the technology or the ability to put the stuff in that he wanted to. But he changed some lines. He changed this whole shot first. All he did was make the blaster shot go quicker than the other one. Why change that up if that's what you really wanted in the original? So I don't buy it. He just did it to make money, to put all this stuff in and then re-release them so he could just make people buy them and make money. That's the only reason he did it. So it really just ticks me off. Another reason why I'm just ticked off at the whole remastered version. But anyway, Star Wars comes out 1977. I'm 5 years old. And you had to order the toys a year before the movie came out to get the toys. I remember when you got the action figures, they had the little box top thing that you cut out and you could send in and get the other figures, some of the ones that weren't as played as much a role, you could get all the Lukes and Vaders and R2-D2s and C-3POs you wanted, but you couldn't get a special battle Luke, or a Darth Vader without his helmet, stuff like that. You had to order that kind of stuff. I remember getting Admiral Akbar and Boba Fett in the mail and it took like 8 to 10 weeks to get them, and I just remember being so happy. But I still today have pictures of me, and my parents have pictures of me getting all my Star Wars toys that first Christmas and just unwrapping them and just having everything, because I had every action figure, I had every toy set, I had every toy in Star Wars of that original trilogy. I had it all, everything you could think of buying it, I had it, and I loved it. And I remember one day, it snowed in April April 4th. It snowed on my dad's birthday, April 4th one year. And I remember setting up my whole Hoth scene from Empire Strikes Back outside because I had all the stuff. So I was able to reenact, the original trilogy as it happened in the movies because I had everything that was in the movies. So just stuff like that just brings back such great memories of Star Wars and these original trilogy movies. But one gripe I did have about the original Star, not a gripe, but just something I find is funny, and I'll explain more in my number 1 video. But when the Millennium Falcon, they get Han Solo and Chewie, and they're escaping Tatooine, and the Star Destroyer's on the Millennium Falcon's tail, and he's like, don't worry. And Han's like, don't worry, they won't catch me. I know some maneuvers. And it just shows him keep going straight. You know, he doesn't really perform any maneuvers, but they make up for it in The Empire Strikes Back, you know, and I'll go into that when I review that video. But it's one of my favorite scenes in Empire Strikes Back is when he actually does some maneuvers, and they definitely made up for that, because I know they got a lot of flack for, I know some maneuvers and you just keep going straight, and they still make fun of it today. So, but anyway, something else that's in the original trilogy that I did not know about, I did not even catch or see until just a couple of years ago when people started making it prominent on social media, is the stormtrooper that bumps his head, and now I can't unsee it, now that I watch it, and I watch Star Wars all the time, multiple times a year, and I cannot unsee him hitting his head. And there's a lot of people, across the world that say, hey, I'm that guy. No, it's me. I'm the guy that bumped his head. So check it out on social media. There are people that are actually saying that they're the guy that bumped their head, and they cannot find who the real guy really is. It could be one of these people that are claiming to be him, but it could not be, because there's multiple people claiming that that's the guy. But you don't know, because he has, the armor on, Stormtrooper armor on. So I find that real funny, that they're trying to find this guy that bumped his head. But anyway, try to find it if you can, when they're coming to get Luke Skywalker and them. And it has the 3 stormtroopers, one up front and 2 in the back, and they're walking straight forward, and they go under this doorway, and the guy on this side hits his head on that doorway, and it is so funny. And in the remastered version, they added the sound effect to it, like tonk, but you only see, I only watched the original version, so you have to actually catch it, because you won't hear it, you'll just see it. But anyway, that's a funny moment, Easter egg in Star Wars, that still lasts today. But a lot of reasons, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's another thing that pisses me off. Sorry about my language, but it just really irks me about the prequels, is how they explain the Force. And in Star Wars, the original A New Hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi says it himself, that it's an energy field, okay, that that penetrates us and combines the universe together. It binds everything and everyone together. Then we get the original. I keep saying original. Then we get the prequels, and what does Qui-Gon Jinn say? Oh, they're midichlorians. They're in our cells. It's not biological. And that's what really made me mad about those prequels, is that they took this energy field and made it biological, like it's in the cells of everything, but which can be true to a point too. I understand the energy field could be connecting the cells together, but blah, blah, blah. Nah, don't make it about midichlorians and cells. Nah, listen to Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original movie, the original Star Wars. It is an energy field that binds the universe together. That's what the Force will always be to me, not this prequel midichlorians crap. But anyway, I could go on and on and on about what makes Star Wars so great. You see Obi-Wan get sliced down, and you strike me down, I'll become more powerful. And that's something that, is linked to The Last Jedi, that I didn't like at first, but I see is good now, that he chose to go out by using the Force. He died using the Force. That's what killed him, is using the Force so strongly, Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. And that was the same with Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's done his bit for King and Country. His job was to get Luke motivated to fight the good fight. He accomplished that, and the only way he could help him anymore from there on out was to be a Force ghost and be able to lead him on his journey and train him through being a ghost. So he accomplished his mission. Strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can ever imagine. And that's what happens. So, and the heroes get together, and Luke, of course, he uses the Force to shoot the torpedoes into the exhaust port to blow up the Death Star, and then we find out years later that was put in there, that design flaw was put in there, and for the longest time people were like, how could you build a Death Star with you know, a stupid exhaust port that could be hit by some kid from Tatooine, you know, some teenager blew up the Death Star, you know. But we find out in Rogue One that it was a design flaw specifically put in there, you know, by the designer of the Death Star, so someone could exploit it and blow it up and save the galaxy. And that's what they did. So anyway, that being said, like I said, I could go on and on and on what makes Star Wars so great and why it's number 2, but hey, that's just me. It's number 1 for most people. It's number 1 for Ridgely, you know, that, I mean, and understandably, but once I get to my number 1, you'll see why The Empire Strikes Back is my number 1 and not Star Wars. It's just, you know, this was a good intro to all the characters, what's going on, the galaxy, you know, the conflict, and then Empire Strikes Back just, they set up the nail with Star Wars: A New Hope, then Empire Strikes Back comes in and just hammers it down, and just beautifully, and that's why that one's going to be my number 1. But Star Wars is number 2. Where is it on your list? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like my videos and subscribe to my channel, and as always, make yourself happy every day. And the only way to do that is to remember, the only thing stopping you is you stopping.